Because if we don't understand who he was before, we'll never understand what he did afterwards. If he were just an enlightened man who was born, lived, and died, his sacrifice would be noble but limited. But if he is the eternal one who invaded time, then the cross is not just martyrdom, it's a cosmic event. We are about to enter dangerous ground for human logic. Let's start digging into ancient texts, which show that he didn't just stay in heaven, waiting for the moment to be born in Bethlehem. He made visits, he came down, camouflaged, disguised, interacting with humanity long before he had a human name. History is full of fingerprints that do not belong to ordinary angels. There are accounts of encounters with a being who spoke like God, acted like God, received worship as God, but who appeared in the form of a man or a special angel. These were the dress rehearsals for the grand entrance onto the stage. But before we analyze these ghostly apparitions, we need to confront the huge mistake that dominates the popular imagination. An infantilized view that turned the Lion of the tribe of Judah into just a moral teacher in sandals. There is a forgotten glory that needs to be recovered, and an ancient prophecy that, if read carefully, dispels any doubt about its timeless origin. Most of us carry a corrupted file in our memory when it comes to the image of Christ. If I asked you right now to picture Jesus, your mind would instantly project a man in his early 30s, wearing simple robes, dusty sandals, walking through the hills of Galilee. You would see the carpenter, the teacher, the man who grew tired, felt thirst, and wept. That image is real and historical, but it is dangerously incomplete. It represents only a tiny fraction of who he is, a brief episode of 33 years in an existence that never had a beginning. The huge mistake we make is to see the incarnation as the beginning of the life of the Son of God. It's like judging the depth of an iceberg only by the tip that appears above the water. The humanity of Jesus, the one born of Mary, was a biological spacesuit woven so that he could operate in Earth's atmosphere without disintegrating us with his glory. But who put on that suit? Who was the person who entered that flesh? To understand this, we need to open an ancient document written 700 years before the birth in Bethlehem. A prophet named Micah received confidential information which would go unnoticed by many, but which contains the key to unlocking this mystery. He prophesied that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. Yes, the small town in Judah. But it's the second part of the sentence where the chasm opens up. Micah declares that the origins of this ruler are not from that moment, but that his goings forth are from ancient times, from the days of eternity. Pause and absorb the weight of that statement. The original text uses terms that refer to an immemorial time, a past that vanishes into the mist of infinity. The prophet was telling us that the baby in Bethlehem was, in fact, a time traveler coming directly from eternity past. This brings us to a scenario that challenges our ability to visualize. We need to rise up, leave the earth, and go back to before the foundation of the world. Imagine the throne of God. There is no sun, there is no moon, for the divine presence itself is the light. There, in that environment of absolute perfection, the Father was not alone. There was someone beside him, someone who shared the same essence, the same omnipotence, and the same majesty. In the Gospel of John, we get a rare glimpse of this recovered memory. Shortly before being arrested, Jesus prays a prayer that sounds strange to human ears. He asks the Father to glorify him with the glory he had with the Father before the world existed. This statement is a confession of pre-existence. He remembered, he knew what he had left behind. Try to imagine what kind of glory this is. It is not human fame. It is not the applause of the crowds. It is a glory of substance, an uncreated radiance, a position of supreme authority over galaxies that had yet to be formed. He was there when the plan of redemption was drawn up. He was not caught off guard by Adam's sin. He had already agreed to the rescue mission even before Adam took his first breath. This doctrine of pre-existence completely changes the dynamics of heaven. It means that when the angels were created, the first thing they saw was not just the Father, but the Father and the Son, the heavenly hosts, myriads of beings of light, seraphim who cover their faces before holiness. All of them knew this being. They interacted with him. They received orders from him. Here, the plot thickens and the mystery becomes fascinating. If the angels spoke with him, they needed to use a name. You don't have a conversation with someone without identifying them, but they didn't call him Jesus. The name Jesus, or Yeshua, was a specific designation for his earthly mission, meaning, the Lord saves. In heaven, before sin, there was no need for salvation, so that name didn't make sense yet. What then was the form of address used in the heavenly halls? How did the archangel Gabriel address him before being sent to Mary? How did Lucifer, before his fall, refer to this supreme commander? There is a disturbing silence in the scriptures about this specific name, as if it were too sacred to be uttered by human lips without proper understanding. However, we do know his position. The scriptures call him the firstborn of all creation. Be careful here, because this is a linguistic trap into which many fall. Firstborn, in the ancient biblical context, does not necessarily mean the first to be born in chronological order, but rather the supreme heir, the one who has preeminence, the highest place of honor. He is not part of the created things. He is the one who brings created things into being. The relationship between Father and Son in eternity is a mystery of perfect love. The Father loves the Son and has placed everything in his hands. It is a dance of mutual honor that exists outside of time. When we say that he is co-eternal, we are affirming that there was never a moment when God the Father existed without God the Son. If God is eternally Father, he must eternally have a Son. If the Son had been created later, God would have changed, which is impossible. This truth removes Jesus from the category of a great man and places him in the category of God with us. The prophet Isaiah, when glimpsing this figure, did not hold back on titles. He said that the child who would be born would be called Mighty God, Father of Eternity. How can a son be the Father of Eternity? Because in the divine essence, time is not a straight line, it is an eternal present. Now, look again at human history with this adjusted lens. That man walking in Galilee carried within himself the memories of the formation of the stars.